Welcome to the Real Talk with Missy and Fabio.
The honest side of real estate with all you must know to survive in this market.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Missy and Fabio. Real Talk, real people. What is it?
Today we have Miss Nancy Masannat with us, and she is going to share her story that we think is something that's relevant that we really do need to bring to light. And welcome, Miss Nancy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome,
I'm so
Nancy.
glad to be here today.
Me too. I'm happy to see you, kid.
She looks beautiful. Look how colorful.
Yeah, thank you.
The last time we saw each other, we were sweating
Yeah.
and nasty in a storage room. So
Really hot.
We have gamed up right
Oh
now.
my gosh. I'm so lucky I wasn't there.
You were lucky. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have looked so pretty.
But anyway, Nancy is one of the. I believe Nancy is part of the community because she's always in all the network around the town, and everybody know her. So that's another story that we need to talk about it.
Right. So share with us why you're here, because your son and the things that you've gone through with that community, and
Okay.
we really appreciate helping educate the rest of our world about
Absolutely.
your trials there.
Absolutely. So I am the mother of two kids. I have a daughter who's 22, but a son who's 20, who's on the autism spectrum. He was diagnosed fairly soon after we moved to the Fredericksburg area
How old was he?
in 2003. So he was just under 2 when we first got our original diagnosis. So we were lucky enough to have him diagnosed early. So we were able to do early interventions. We got right into therapies, did a lot of speech, occupational therapy, applied behavioral analysis therapy. And that helps break things down into small pieces so they can learn it easier. But even with all that therapy and all his time in the school system, he's still nonverbal. So he uses an iPad with an app on it where he can type or he can touch pictures and it will speak for him. So that's how he communicates with us. He's still in the school system.
Good.
And will be for another year. In Virginia, children can stay in the school system till they're 21. They offer services post-graduation, so he's a year post-graduation, so he's considered to be a super senior. But he's had a fairly good school experience. This year we pulled him, so he does school 3 days a week. He does ABA 2 other days a week, and everybody is working across the board on some job skills, some life skills, those kind of things.
What's ABA?
ABA is the Applied Behavioral Analysis
Okay.
Therapy.
Okay.
That's breaking things down. So when I started my journey, there weren't, the numbers for kids with autism was probably 1 in every 125 had autism. Today, those numbers are 1 in every 54 to 44, depends upon whose numbers you're looking at. So the rate has increased significantly. There's still, it's difficult for parents to feel connected oftentimes. We're so focused on taking care of our kids, trying to get through the day-to-day, that oftentimes those parents lose connection with other people. So I have
You mean other people that will support system?
To make sure that they're building a support system. Oftentimes families aren't as understanding, so you may have extended family that's not as supportive as they could be.
Right.
Those kind of things. So I was originally part of an in-person group years ago before Facebook became a thing. That was the Autism Support Group of Fredericksburg, and did that for years. And oftentimes we had parents that usually just showed up once or twice, and it was all about feeling like you weren't alone in your journey. And then fast forward, now I run a Facebook page that's called Autism Parents of Fredericksburg, so that we try to use that as a resource to connect parents with necessary resources, just to let them know that they're not by themselves.
You have to give us these resources so when this goes out, we can
Absolutely.
post the links and everything for it.
Absolutely.
So when you first started your journey, I mean, how hard was it? I mean, is it different? Has it improved, or were there actual people that you could actually lean on? And
well, it's been an interesting journey. So we were a Navy family, so we had just literally moved to the Fredericksburg area. maybe 4 months before his diagnosis. So I didn't know anybody in the area. And my now ex-husband traveled a lot. So I was left to deal with a toddler and my son and trying to go through the diagnosis process and trying to set up early interventions and everything. So it was really important to me to go find that autism support group because I needed those supports. I needed to start building that network of people. We got connected with the church, met people that way, found a lot of support system that way because we didn't have family here.
Yes. Welcome to the military life.
Exactly. So, but did a lot of research, did a lot of reading, a lot of learning. It's a huge learning curve. I think oftentimes parents are afraid they're going to mess something up. And the best thing you can do for your kid is just, once you've got that diagnosis, is realize that the best thing you can do for your child is just love them first and let your other kids know that nothing is different.
Right.
And then just start seeking those supports and do the best you can. Start looking at the school system. The school system starts them as early as 3 years old.
Wow.
They have early intervention programs there in the school system.
Are they in every school in each county, or are there one?
It's not necessarily in every school, but if you go to the county school district, they usually will have, I think it's called Child Find in our area. They'll have a Child Find area. So they have those things in place to be able to start looking at where their placement might be. And in Virginia, special education, their transportation is provided. So even if it's out of your home school, they're going to provide that transportation to get your kid back and forth to school, which is a nice thing to have.
I read a few times, I saw that they have different levels for the condition that, you know. So what stage is going to be, I don't know how to say, like
So with autism, it's kind of changed. When our journey started, there was the label of autism, and then there was also a category called Asperger's. And they have since eliminated the category of Asperger's. So there's levels 1, 2, and 3 with differing levels of severity. So, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the difference is. Whether it goes 1, 2, and 3 or 3, 2, 1. I don't know which way it goes. But my son is on the lower end because he's nonverbal. That doesn't mean that he's not smart. It just means it's more difficult to test him for his academic knowledge. It's more difficult for him to communicate. We have issues with knowing if he's sick, if he doesn't feel well, if he's sad, those kind of things. You've got to do a lot of reading body cues and that kind of thing with him. Kids that are verbal will have a tendency to have greater issues with anxiety, social cueing, like they have difficulty in social settings, understanding, reading somebody's body language. They have a tendency to have a particular fixation on or fascination with a particular something. It could be dinosaurs, it could be commercial air conditioning, it could be any number of things. Just that's what interests them, and they'll fixate on it. So that's, and then there's the mid-range, and they're somewhere in between. Oftentimes there's physical sensory issues, there's issues with food. Oftentimes they tend to be self-limiting eaters, so they are very picky about what they eat, things like that. So
Who tests? Does the school test or the medical system then?
it's the medical system.
Who makes that decision where to place them?
It's the medical system who will give a diagnosis of autism. Oftentimes a pediatrician will refer you to a child psychologist. Those kind of specialists, they give the diagnosis of autism. Once they've got the diagnosis, then you can then go into the school system. The school system does their own evaluations, and they will determine as to what the placement needs to be for that child.
So if someone doesn't have insurance, how does that, health insurance,
I
does
wouldn't.
the state take care of?
In our area, one of the groups that works with diagnosis and that early intervention piece is the Rappahannock Area Community Services Board.
Okay.
So they do a lot of work in that field. And that was our first experience with speech therapy and occupational therapy, is they came into our home and they were able to guide me through things that I could do with my son throughout the week.
Wow.
So it just depends upon what that is. And with the diagnosis, parents can sometimes, it's gotten more and more difficult, you're able to apply for the Medicaid waiver for your child's health care.
Okay.
So,
You know, we say like we are strong guys, but really the strong is the woman that's strong. Because no, I'm talking about because your situation, even that your husband was there or not there, but you have to deal more, because you go to work and you just kind of have 8 hours that you don't get into that situation every day, So it's not, I'm gonna say like we don't pay attention to that, but it's everything is about mother. Mother is the one that, and you say one word that's really make everything different. It's love. Love is the,
Yep, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you, do you have in-home care help? Does someone come and do any therapy at home, or how does that now for his lifestyle? What does he do? What's his day like? What's your day like?
So for him, we have been, so he goes to the ABA office a couple days a week. So he goes on Mondays and Fridays. We just finished school, so up until this week, he was in school Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That gave him an opportunity to socialize with his peers. But they also gave him jobs around the school, so he would go and shelve.
That's nice.
He would go and shelve books in the library. He would go and pick up items that needed to be shredded or copied, and take care of things like that. So that's kind of what his week looks like. Now for me, because he has a waiver, I am able to have a personal care attendant for him, which means that I can get out and I can work on my business. So he has somebody that's able to meet the bus when he gets home from school. And then we also have therapists that come into the home and work with him in the home as well as at the office.
So now, and for everybody, I think school is out.
Just about, I think this week is we're done.
It's so hard, I think, for a lot of kids. They need to go to school to get lunch.
Yeah.
To maybe sometimes get away
that's a very
from
important thing.
someone in the home that maybe there's abuse or something going on in the home. How does that change them for the summer for your son? It's just...
Well, we're very...
Because he's used to a routine, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and that's why he likes school so much. Yeah. So one of the advantages of the special education system is they have a program called ESY, Extended School Year. Okay. So he will be out of school until mid-June, and then he will have about 4 weeks of school over the summertime.
Okay.
That's 4 days a week, half a day, but that's still something.
Yeah.
And so he'll have that engagement. And unlike summer school where you're going back because you didn't learn something at school, they use that as an opportunity to maintain their skills. So they're not going to lose a skill that they're going to keep.
I think every kid needs that.
Exactly.
It's a long couple months when you just...
Exactly.
Everything goes away.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what he does in the
So
summertime.
I would say to you, because as a parent, we always have we have fear of the future of our kids.
Definitely.
So that's, to us, so we don't have that problem, that condition to our kids. What about you?
So his future right now is, we're still a little fuzzy on it. We'll have 1 more year of school, and then I'm in the process still of trying to find that thing that he can do that's going to give him something to get up in the morning and feel like he's got meaning in his life. I think fundamentally our job as parents is to raise our children. Our job is not to be their friend. not when they're little. Our job is not to be their friend. Our job is to be their parent. And part of being a parent is teaching them the life skills so that they can function independently when they reach adulthood, right? So in his case, like, he's never going to be independent, but he can have some skills that increase his independence, so that he can help in the home, he can help different places. And I think everybody deserves to have something that gives them meaning and purpose in their life.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So, if there's someone out there that he could potentially work for, do they have to qualify? Do they have to go through some semblance of certification so your son could work for them, or they could employ? Or is it just anybody, just a job as long as he can do it?
It would really be, it would come down to somebody being willing to employ him. And we're actually looking at, probably he will have, once he's out of the school system, he will qualify, hopefully, for companion care, which means he would have the ability to have somebody shadow him that is not provided by the employer.
Good.
That could assist him and help him with whatever job he's doing. And so I, in my business, I'm trying to develop a piece of what I do that could incorporate that as well.
That's a great idea.
So
Does the empty storage units?
we're gonna have to work on that one, because I need some empty too. No, I'm actually his ABA program has actually been working on getting him to be able to look at a set of containers and be able to pull look at a list and be able to pull a specific.
That would be awesome.
And so I'm in the process of trying to make sure that I find an inventory system where I could create that, because a lot of what I do with the home staging is all my beds are banker's boxes.
That's what I was going to ask you. What are you doing?
All my beds are banker's boxes, so if I were to be able to label them correctly,
right,
then I could give him a packing list and he could help with an attendant.
So that might even come in like with Amazon or
possible.
any Walmart or something like that. He could do warehouse work.
Yep, absolutely.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
He tends to be a little loud and a little STEMmy. Those are our
it's
biggest.
Like me.
Those are our
like
biggest.
Fabio.
Not me, but you are like that.
Those are our biggest issues when it comes to employment. STEMmy, so self-stimulatory behavior. So the hand flapping that's often associated with autism, rocking, those kind of things. Oftentimes it's one end of the thing or the other. They're either trying to calm themselves down or they've been wound up.
Okay.
So it's just.
Are medications a big part of his world?
For Kyle, we have been very fortunate that we don't.
That's great.
We don't currently do medications. At one point, we did. He did have seizures. So oftentimes, it's a scary thing. Oftentimes, with the onset of puberty, the hormones throw everything out of whack. So we dealt with epileptic seizures for a while.
Wow.
We were able to find a medication the first try that took care of the seizures, and he went. He has, knock on wood, been seizure free since he was 12, and so. But oftentimes that is the case with the onset of puberty. Sometimes they'll have seizures come out of the blue, and so that can be an issue. So.
Well, we, again, I want Nancy to give us resources for whomever's listening. We'll have them down below, and because we're going to change topics, I want to just make sure that you all understand that any questions, you can put them in the comments, and
Absolutely.
then Nancy will help us address them for you, or she can just run with helping you.
Absolutely.
So please come forth if you have questions or concerns. You may have questions and you think something might not be right, or you need help with your child. There might be some organic way that we know a lot of people who know a lot of people who know a lot of opportunities maybe to help. So please go ahead and put them in the questions or the comments, and we will certainly address them as soon as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then to change the tides.
Are we?
Yes.
Oh.
Nancy,
What are we going to be talking about now?
Staging. This woman has come to us as an angel, and just really as you can tell, has it together and brings color and life to a very white blah service sometimes. So if you would tell how you got into that. And
Well, let me tell you, Nancy's my bad girl.
she's your bad girl.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm the bad guy.
Oh,
I'm the
I
bad
love that.
guy.
That's right.
Yeah. So
So she'll go and talk to a client.
So Fabio has called me up a number of times. I think he's got me on speed dial. And he'll call me up and he'll be like, "Okay, you've got to come in. I need you to talk to the client." And he'll tell me up front, like, "I'm not so sure about this part or this." I'm like, "Okay." Gives me a heads up, and then I make sure that the client takes care of what they need to take care of, like red ceilings and
Yeah.
Yeah. And mirror.
Green carpet. Very
Yes.
green. I mean,
Yeah.
grass carpet.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate having, hey, we have our staging consultant. She's going to be on task. She'll meet you, blah, blah, blah. And do you do a report then too? How do you do that?
I will typically kind of give them a bullet list of things that they need to address and just kind of give them a verbal. But it's absolutely, if they need something in writing, I can definitely do that as well. The whole goal is your relationship as real estate agents needs to be tight with your
Yeah, we
people,
can't make them crazy.
because you've got a way longer journey than I have with them.
Right.
Like, I only see them maybe half an hour in those situations, but our goal, your goal and my goal is the same. We want them to get top dollar for their house.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really what it's about.
So I think, and I know we agree that I think a house that is clean on top of, probably more than anything, if it's clean, people understand that the house has been taken care of. If we stage it, it gives perspective to each room. It brings a flow of color because we start and run the color through the house, so the photography just flows.
Yep.
It makes such a difference to the point where we will get multiple offers. That's our goal. Our end goal is to get multiple
top dollar
offers.
to the table.
But the whole thing that sells the house is the photography. So the
Yes.
staging and the photography go hand in hand, and that's what we are. We're media managers at this point. We
Yeah.
put it out there, and that will help bring multiple offers, which brings $10,000 to $15,000, maybe $30,000 above the list price.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
Absolutely. It is. It's crazy. I was watching a Facebook reel the other day of a group that does the fix and flips, and they said, we always stage our properties, and they decided to do an experiment to see if the staging was making a difference. So they put it on the market. They priced it a little lower, thinking, we're going to get offers for higher.
Not staged?
Not staged. They didn't stage it. They put it on the market at $239. They were hoping for $250. They got one offer at list. They took it off the market a week later. They put it back on the market, fully staged.
It's huge.
Yeah.
$33K higher.
Yeah.
Well, let me
what they
tell
got.
you, because she's a bad girl, but not a bad girl. But because she always say with a smile, so that's
Yes.
gonna make it,
She's
easy.
a gentle bad girl.
But one other thing what happens to us, one house that I was listing, and my client doesn't want to spend them. I mean, he said, "I'm gonna spend that money." I said, "Don't worry, we're gonna spend the money." But I'm gonna see you. You're gonna see the difference. He almost trying to kiss me because he got a 45,000 over asking
Yes.
price, and I said, "Please, it's okay."
And I did
Just
kind
pay
of
Nancy.
Yeah.
I did kind of a rough run of the numbers on that, and what you got over, your commission on that paid for my staging. So you weren't out any commission,
Yeah.
but your seller got much more in his settlement.
And the thing is, we're going to be talking about, it's just because one company there's about in the market, they're always talking about 1% that you're going to get, stuff like that. People doesn't understand.
They do not understand.
No, you bring expertise, you bring, experience, you bring everything.
Well, you bring a team of
team,
vetted,
yeah,
that
of course,
experience,
yeah.
that has a backup plan, and there's a strategy.
Yeah, it's a
There
strategy.
is a huge strategy to doing it right. You can stick a sign in the yard. You can sell the house.
You can be you want to sell by yourself, but you're not going to bring the money that
You're
you're
leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and that's what I have told him before. I said, I think for every 10,000 we get above the list price, we should get 1,000. because we're getting $40,000-$50,000 over list price for our clients sometimes, and we're still making the same commission, but
Right.
we're putting the money out of our pocket to advance their proceeds.
Right.
Hugely.
Absolutely.
Ain't not
So-
it's not okay to give me kids just because of that. So
It ain't worth it.
it
is
ain't
it?
worth it.
But I think Nancy brings not only joy to her family and her son, and kudos to you with a big hug for for sharing your knowledge. I think that's
absolutely.
like the most important thing that we can do, and that's our mission with this whole deal,
Yeah.
is to bring a knowledge level to people to help our community,
Absolutely.
and to those who are struggling. Moms, dads, parents struggle all day long because all we want is our children to grow up, be healthy, have a
happy.
Happy life.
be happy, and not use our Verizon bill anymore. No. But staging, again, thank you for all you do,
Absolutely.
and to bring
My
color
pleasure.
to our
Our
white
life-
boxes,
our life
yes,
too.
and our lives. So, but you guys, we really look forward to your feedback. We need for you to subscribe, please, to our YouTube channel.
Tap the bell.
Tap the bell so you'll get notification of anything that we do. And
And let me tell you,
stay
Missy,
tuned.
we didn't match today. This is not an
You guys,
uniform.
like,
We
we
just
all look good
that was
together.
that was a coincidence. So
We all look good today.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice
thank you.
together.
Thank you.
Same brain waves. But anyway, subscribe. Stay tuned. Next week we'll have another local town, Fredericksburg city. What do I want to say? Businesses, as well as just a lifestyle that we all need
friend.
to be a friend, a friend that we need to be aware of. Bye, you guys.
goodbye, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. So glad you joined us today.
Please message us on Facebook, and Fabio and I will respond to all your questions as soon as possible,
Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
or anywhere you listen to your podcast.